Hello, all you professional wrestling fans. Welcome back to Squared Circle Speak, your home for any and everything professional wrestling. It is Monday, which means it's time once again to review the week in WWE. I am Ryan. With me, as always, is my co host, Nathan. And it was an exciting week this week in WWE, but more specifically, an exciting week for NXT, which we will get to a little bit later. But we have to start off with Monday Night Raw, headlined by what could very well be Becky Lynch's last WWE match.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into that because let's talk about some rumors and news here, Ryan. Becky Lynch's contract is up. She is a free agent.
Yep.
A lot of speculation. Most people have sources that say that she's just going to take time off to, just needs time off and that she'll be back with WWE at some point. But then you have some other speculations that she may never come back to wrestling. She might find roles in acting and other stuff and just never come back. Maybe like Trish Stratus come back when she's later in life for a little bit or something.
Yeah.
And then there's also the really, really heavy rumors that say that she could, if Tony Khan throws enough dollar signs at her, she could, secure her family financially and go to AEW and mess around for a while.
I don't believe 1 second in the AEW rumors. I really don't think she's going to go to AEW. I just doesn't. I mean, and she could if, like you said, if Tony Khan is able to throw her enough money, which he can, very well could do it just for the money, and because it's easier to travel and all that stuff. She could still be around with her daughter, be a mom while still wrestling, which is, I guess, the ultimate goal. But if I had to put money on it, if I was saying what her next career move is, I think she's going to do nothing for a while. She's going to enjoy just being at home, being a mom. And then, yeah, I think the acting thing is probably more. I mean, she got to do it on Young Rock, where she played Cyndi Lauper. Maybe that opened the door because she's with The Rock. Maybe he can get her some roles and stuff. Her book, which I listened to, she did state she wanted to be an actor, like before wrestling. Like when she stopped wrestling for a while, her goal was to become an actor. So maybe she's going to try to go back into that. Um, I just can't see her going to AEW. She feels way too big for AEW. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like but I could be wrong. I don't know. It's very interesting to see a star of this caliber's contract expire and not resign.
Yeah, it's the first time this has happened in a long time.
Because they have been signing up, re-signing almost everybody that's been coming up. So
Well, to continue on with this news, there's a lot of contracts coming up, Ryan. I don't know if this is a new strategy for WWE or if they're just not paying attention to contracts right now or what, but we got quite a few coming up. We got Chad Gable.
mm-hmm.
Apparently in a couple of weeks his contract is up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's in some pretty big storylines right now.
Yep. Chad Gable. We do know Ricochet is up sometime in the summer, which that's could be anything. So Seth Rollins is reportedly up sometime this year as well. I think in the summer as well. So we've got three of them right now who, Ricochet maybe not on the same level as Chad Gable and Seth and all them, but Ricochet still he's the speed champion. He gets used a lot, so it's gonna be
Well,
interesting.
now, I mean, Ricochet is a former United States and Intercontinental champion. Chad
Yeah.
Gable has not won either one of those.
Yes. Well, the thing is, everyone says, "Oh, he's going to go to AEW." There's been a lot of talk that he's not going to resign. But here's the thing: he
Hmm.
gets to work with his wife or fiance every day.
Okay.
They're on the road together. Ricochet. He's with his wife or girlfriend or fiance, whatever she is. They're together every day, so that makes travel way easier. Seeing them together, that's way easier. And I mean, he's always said that WWE is like where he wanted to end his career. Like he always said that he was a WWE guy. So if they're gonna, I just have a feeling I just have a feeling this is a new strategy for WWE. They're just, they don't start talking negotiations until like right before the contract's up, I guess.
Well,
It's a weird
that's
strategy.
what. Well. Here's the thing. We've merged with UFC, right?
Yeah.
And TKO. Well, UFC's strategy is that they let contracts go up. They let them fight their last fight of their contract before they negotiate. Now, WWE is different because UFC, after you fight your last fight, you don't fight again for, if you resign, you're not fighting again for months. Whereas WWE, if you let this happen the way they're letting it happen, you got storylines going. You can't just not re-sign them and then all of a sudden it takes like a month or two to get the contract hammered out, and they're not on TV for a month or two. Their storylines kind of get messed up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird way of doing things for wrestling.
Especially when all these people are currently in top uh storylines right now. And they're all most of them are, and they're all contracts are coming up right away. And so it's like, Chad Gable, Ricochet's a champion. Like, it's weird to have these guys in these top storylines and not know for sure if they're going to resign unless they verbally said, "Hey, we're going to resign," you know, unless there's been discussions not like legit, just verbal confirmation, and then they're just going to put the paperwork to pen the paper when the time comes, which could
Yeah.
happen. But yeah, it's interesting. We'll see. I would say most of them end up resigning. I think like Natalia's up soon too.
She can. Okay.
But I would see most of them resigning unless WWE just doesn't want them back. No one would
Yeah.
maybe
The thing,
Ricochet.
well, we got to think of it this way too. Here's something we didn't even take into account. We got all these NXT people, right? And they just keep getting more and more. It's not like they're stopping. They keep bringing more people to
Yeah,
tournament.
I mean they're signing new people every month.
And at some point, it's kind of like the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
You can only have so many,
Yep.
and if somebody's losing a lot, they bump them out. So if somebody's not getting enough fan reaction, or they could have just some simple issue that WWE doesn't like, they could be out.
I mean, that's probably the reason, like Xia Li and Cameron Grimes and all them got released. They just weren't getting the reaction and they weren't doing what they wanted, I guess. So you're very well, yeah. I mean, and then you just let them go instead of resigning. Oh, the contract's up. Well, we don't really know if we have any plans for Ricochet, so maybe we just let him go. I mean, that could happen.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of crazy for people that you think would be over and stuff, but you never know. I mean, they're having Nick Khan in there now.
yeah,
He's a businessman. He's not. I mean, he's even more of a businessman than Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon would do things vindictively and release people because he's an asshole. But but Nick Khan though, he sees numbers. And if that guy's making too much money and they're not really using him as much as, even if they are using him a little bit, if he thinks they're not using him enough to, you know, to make sense to give him all that money, then let him go, bring up somebody from NXT, just like in sports. You let a top running back go to bring in two not so good running backs, but they make less. I mean, that's kind of how it goes.
yeah. It's
Let's
interesting.
talk. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just say it's interesting. We're definitely in a new era now, and we'll see this summer if like Chad Gable's. I can't imagine Chad Gable not resigning. He's in one of the best like storyline wise. He's getting pushed and he's getting stuff. It'd be weird to see him not resign, but I guess we'll see. So
Let's go ahead and talk about Raw, Ryan. What were some of the highlights of Raw?
not a lot. There was a lot of talking on this show. Uh, Ilya and Ricochet got to wrestle a pretty good match, and it didn't. But it was a disqualification finish, which sucked because Braun Breaker got involved, and Braun Breaker I think killed Ricochet, so maybe he is going to leave.
Yeah, so in that spot, in that spot, it was they found out that Braun Breaker actually outran the cameraman,
Yeah,
and they couldn't find him right away because he was too fast.
dude, he's a beast, man. Yeah, and then Dragunov. It looks like we might be going for maybe a Breaker Dragunov feud here. But Ricochet did win this by disqualification. But then yeah, Braun Breaker's just a madman, and I don't know where they're going with this storyline, but it's
That's an interesting, feud because that's two brand new guys. Who do you have? If
and
you have
didn't
Dragon,
they? I mean, they feuded in NXT, didn't they?
yeah, but this is
Yeah,
the main roster.
yeah,
It's a clean slate, clean slate. And if you have Dragonov, he just lost to Jey Uso,
yeah,
and now if you have him lose to Braun Breaker, you can always bring them down and build them back up. That's what Vince McMahon always used to do to these guys.
yeah,
But I don't know, man. That's kind of that would kind of suck for Ilya.
yeah. Um, we did have it may have went under the radar, but we have some more Karrion Cross stuff. But he was basically trying to tell Woods to go to turn on Kofi and finally get his moment to shine. And Coach Woods said he wouldn't do it, but we got Karrion Cross trying to pull the strings of the New Day and trying to break them up. So we'll see if that leads to anything or if it's just going to lead to another Karrion Cross loss. Other matches that happened, the Creed brothers lost to the Authors of Pain. Braun Strowman beat JD McDonough. Uh, Lyra Valkyria beat Kairi Sane. So she's still, even though she lost to Queen of the Ring, she is still getting a hard push. I think it's going to be her wrestling Liv at Clash at the Castle. Um, she will be in Scotland, so that's like or wherever it's from. It's just where she's in that area, so I would assume that's probably where they're heading. Rey Mysterio and Carlito finally had their match on a random
Yeah.
episode of Raw with no build, with no like you know build up to it. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was because of that, no build up, and because it felt random, and maybe that's why. But man, it did not look like Carlito was into this at all.
No,
And if he's gonna wrestle like that, he
he's
ain't going.
back to his old ways, Nathan. He's already back.
Yeah, he ain't going. He's not gonna be around very long if he's acting that way already.
Yeah,
Because like he was wrestling slow, dude, and so was Rey Mysterio. Honestly, I know they're up in age, but if you're gonna be on the stage of Monday Night Raw, you gotta be able to perform at a certain level.
yeah. Rey Mysterio won this match. Afterwards, the LWO and the Judgment Day all got into kind of a big schmoz. And it looks like next week it's going to be Priest and Mysterio one on one. And then Bronson Reed destroyed Otis. Afterwards, Chad Gable got mad at Otis. Sammy got involved, and then Gable got the better of Sammy and held up the Intercontinental Championship afterwards. So looks like the Gable Sammy storyline is not over. Gable looks like he's probably going to be getting one more shot at this title. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that they didn't just completely move on. Because, maybe one more shot, maybe he gets it this time. Who knows? And then your main event was Liv and Becky in the steel cage match for the Women's World Championship. What did you think of this match? If it was Becky's last match, was this a good one to go out on?
Well, I'd say it was, except for the finish.
Yeah, the finish kind of sucked.
Well, because think about it. If this is like, say she goes the Trish Stratus route, right?
Yeah, and she just
And
does like the legend stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and let's say she's gone for 5 to 10 years. Okay. If this is the last time we see Becky Lynch for 5 to 10 years, and the finish was a goofy ass, looked like a cartoon with Braun Strowman chasing a guy around the ring and accidentally hitting Becky in the head with a
Well,
door.
he hit Dominic. Dominic hit the cage. The cage hit Becky, and then Liv climbed out.
It looked like a cartoon.
It was pretty bad.
And if that's her last, that's the last thing we see of Becky Lynch for a while. That is not good because you would like for their last. I don't remember what Trish Stratus's last match
She won.
was.
Like before she retired, she won the title.
Oh yeah, okay, so that's a big difference. But I'm just saying, so whenever they show replays and highlights and stuff, that's what you got to see. The last thing of Trish,
Yeah, was holding up
And
the women's championship. She won, and then she retired on top. And Becky's last moment is going to be getting hit in the face with the door.
yeah, I mean, so hopefully she's only gone for a couple months.
Yeah.
But if she's not, yeah, that kind of. But the match was okay. It was one of Liv's better matches.
This match was good. The thing that most people are talking about is the ending after after the match. Liv Morgan planted a big old kiss on Dominic. So
So yeah, so with that, only the the audiences in other countries and maybe the West Coast feed may have caught it,
yeah, it
but
got cut off early everywhere else.
yeah, East Central, Mountain Time, all three of those time zones, we didn't get to see the kiss.
Yeah, it was like they had to cut it at right at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and so I saw it later on like social. So
Yeah,
I didn't know what happened, and then
most of the country saw it was on social media.
yeah, it was on social media. So yeah, it was weird. So I guess they're still planting the seeds for a Liv Rio feud. Obviously, um, they're playing it up that Liv is not like Dominic's not with Liv. I think it's eventually going to come out that he is. I think they're going to play this up for a while, and I think that's the best way to do it is to not immediately have him turn with her. I think
Right.
the best way to do it is to drag this out and have her when Rhea comes back, then he turns on Rhea to kind of seal it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
and then Rhea
makes
turns
sense.
face, and then yeah. So Raw was not great this week. The matches were all okay, and there was a lot of segments, a lot of in-ring
Right.
talking, and I was just kind of, ugh. But
You know what I think we should do
hmm,
on our weekly recaps of all these shows of AEW and WWE? So we recap 5 shows basically, right?
yep, 6. Well, I mean, we don't really do Rampage, but
6 shows.
technically 6.
Yeah. So I think we should have
A
we
ranking.
should have no, just a winner.
Whatever
Like,
show was the best this week. Okay.
yeah. I think after these 5 shows or 6 shows, we say who we think was the best.
Okay. Well, I already got my answer.
Oh God. And well, so if you, on our YouTube channel when you're watching these videos, it'll be at the end of the AEW segment.
Yeah. So
Or at the
tomorrow's video, the end of that video, we will tell you what show we think was the best show this week. So
sound
stay tuned for that and
sound
leave your comment on that video what you think was the best show this week of WWE and
uh,
AEW. I mean, you might think TNA was better, but
yeah.
all right.
Well,
So Raw was not very good, but you know what was pretty good this week, Nathan? NXT. Because let
uh,
me tell you, wow. So let's get to this. Sexy Red was out there. I try to stay hip with the new stuff. I have no idea who Sexy Red is.
yeah, I don't either.
So this whole segment, I didn't care what was happening here. She introduced like the championship, it's whatever. She introduced the new NXT Women's North American Championship, which I thought they already revealed, didn't they?
Yeah, it's been revealed already.
So I don't know why they did, but anyway, this just led to Michin versus Tatum Paxley in a qualifying match for that belt. And Michin wins. They went the different route. I didn't expect Michin to win, but Michin got the win here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah. Neither one of us had that.
this is a pretty good match though. These two pretty well together. There was a weird spot where Paxley did like a bend back on her knees, and then Michin was like in between the ropes, and they were kind of staring at each other. It was weird. But yeah, it was a pretty good match. Michin got the win. Ridge
Yeah,
Holland beat Riley Osborne.
she got a W with her new boobies.
Yeah, she made an impact on SmackDown. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Ridge Holland beat Riley Osborne. Then the Good Brothers took on Malik Blade and Idris and Nofi, with obviously the Good Brothers getting the win, so they are going to compete with Axiom and Nathan Frazier for the tag team titles at Battleground this Saturday, which we will be having a preview of later this week.
Blade and Nofi ever going to win a match?
They were on a winning streak like a year ago or so. They got the title match and then haven't done anything since. But, Dante Chin got a promo, so I guess they're gonna start pushing Dante Chin.
I'm okay with that. He's been
I,
there for a long time.
yeah, it's about time. Uh, so then here was one of the big moments. Roxanne came out talking about who she's going to wrestle at Battleground.
Mm-hmm.
And Ava came out and said, "You're going to wrestle this person." And it's TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace. And this completely threw me off. I was not expecting this at all. This is insanity. And it really made a moment. It made a moment because everyone like the social media alone. But this show was the highest rated show since like January. So whatever they did, it worked. So what are your thoughts, Nathan, on Jordan Grace competing
We
one
should,
on one in a WWE ring
yeah,
for
and
a
we
championship?
shouldn't be too surprised because like we are, but really we shouldn't because Jordan Grace. I mean, yeah, it was been a while, so I guess we are. But she was in that Royal Rumble, and then after the Royal Rumble, though, she said, "This isn't the last time you're going to see me."
Yeah, but that was in January.
True.
So, you know, and I thought,
And she's going to wrestle next week on TV.
yeah, so that was a segment later. She's going to wrestle
Stevie Turner.
Stevie Turner, who I forgot was still there. So, but yeah,
Well, I think she's been hurt for a long time, so
this is interesting. This has got to be a first, right? Like this has got to, other than like the 80s and maybe in the 70s, this has got to be the first time that a current champion of another company is wrestling for a WWE championship, right? Like I can't remember another time where that's happened. Like this has got to be making history here.
yeah.
So I'm very excited for that match just to see Jordan Grace wrestle on WWE. And this is hopefully now there's been no confirmed concrete, you know, proof that this is going to lead to some sort of NXT TNA working relationship. There's rumors everywhere. I don't know for sure if it's going to be, but if it is, and we start seeing some crossover, it could be some fun. I might have to start
Yeah,
checking out
so
TNA.
well, there's a lot of crazy rumors. Apparently, uh, TNA is kind of doing what WWE has been doing with UFC, like the TKO brand, where they let go of a bunch of people that had the same jobs in both, like
Yeah.
in both companies. They had a lot of the same jobs. They had one of each in each company, and now
Mm-hmm.
they're all one company. So they're letting people go. Well, now TNA and Invicta, which is another fighting group, um, they're both owned by Anthem, and now they're doing the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, but there are some rumors, Ryan, that WWE possibly could be buying TNA.
You know,
Now, I would hate for that to happen for TNA because
yes.
if that does happen, they gonna. I mean, we're in a different era, but I don't see them keeping TNA around. I feel like they just take their tape library
And take the
and
talent they want. Yeah.
take the talent that they want. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully that's just a heavy rumor because I really don't want to see that happen
I hope
to
that
TNA
doesn't happen, but
after
God must
25 years. I hate to see that happen.
it, I would hate to see it because you got Mustafa Ali there, who left WWE, finally gets his opportunity, and then if that company gets bought by WWE, oh
Yeah.
God. So we'll see where this leads. If there is going to be crossover, we'll see. It's going to make it very interesting on both shows now. It's going to be like, oh, if someone else is going to show up. So it's at least piquing interest, if anything, for TNA and WWE, and it's good exposure for TNA. I mean, people may want to who've never seen it may want to check it out now. So,
I agree.
we also had Lola Vice defeat Ariana Grace. She is preparing for her underground match at Battleground against Shayna Baszler. Lexis King once again took on Dante Chen. Chen once again gets the win.
How you feel about that, Ryan?
Beat him
Lexus King is
twice.
falling down the ladder here.
Yeah. Afterwards, Lexis King beat him up and destroyed him. So I don't know, but
Yeah.
he got his heat back. But yeah, Lexis King lost twice to Chin. So I don't know, but now I don't know what's going to happen because he kind of got destroyed afterwards. So he hit him with his like swinging neck breaker on the exposed floor. So In the final women's NXT North American Championship qualifying match, Kalani Jordan defeated Ren Sinclair to be the final participant, which I kind of thought, I think we all saw coming.
Yeah.
In your main event, Trick Williams and Javon Evans took on Gallus, which was Mark Coffey and was it in Joe Coffey. So no Wolfgang here. It's awesome. Pretty good match. But I think what everyone's really talking about is what happened after this match.
Yeah.
Because after the match, Lash came out and was talking with Trick. She asked him if he's the one that attacked Noam and Oro went earlier. The lights go out and Ethan Page is there. He beats up Trick and he says, I'm the one who took out Noam and Aura. He takes out Williams and then holds the NXT championship as the show went off the air. So we had 2 surprises on this show. NXT really delivered this week.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
So what do you think? We were talking about Ethan Page not that long ago on this YouTube channel here, and we kind of thought he was gone, that he would never wrestle again, and yet here he is. We thought WWE wouldn't have interest in him, but here we are. On NXT.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. They put him right in the championship match with Trick Williams. I mean,
yeah. So he's going to get pushed right out of the gate. I'm happy for him. Hey, he can talk and he can wrestle pretty good. So it should be. We'll see how he does, but I think he'll be all right. And I'm glad he's getting this final opportunity because he is getting older, and so this is probably going to be his final run in wrestling. So hopefully he can do some cool shit.
Yeah.
So awesome there. The last show of the week for WWE obviously was SmackDown from Albany, New York. Nia Jax came out for her coronation. Her and Bayley, Piper Niven and Chelsea attacked Bayley. It was announced after the show that it will be Piper Niven versus Bayley at Clash of the Castle.
That's good for Piper Niven. Getting to fight for the belt in her own country.
I mean, they're going to put all the Scottish people in the show.
Well, that's the thing about WWE right now, and it would have happened. It really would have happened for Bronson Reed in Australia if he wouldn't have had his baby at that same time.
Yeah, he would have been in that elimination chamber. This whole show was leading up to AJ Styles making an announcement, which we'll get to later. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Austin Theory. We had a little. Looks like we're going to break up A-Town Down Under already. Because Waller was outside talking about how Theory's better off. He says that Theory's more over now that he got the Grayson Waller rub than he ever was with Johnny Gargano. Theory hurt him. Ciampa rolled him up and beat him. So, and then they kind of got into it afterwards. So looks like we might be heading to an A-Town Down Under feud, Nathan.
How do you feel about that? So far,
would that mean Theory's the face?
Yeah, but so far I'm not. Yeah, because you start to turn Theory as a face, make him the next Randy Orton.
I don't know if that can work. He's got such
I think
he can maybe pull it off if he goes back to kind of like the goofy side of himself,
Yeah,
but
I think he can do it. I think the crowd would eventually turn around and be with him. But here's the deal about this situation. What the hell happened with the tag team divisions?
Dude, I don't know, man.
You got some of the best tag teams right now you've ever had. You got so many actual tag teams.
You got a deep tag team roster.
But no, like there was tag team matches on these shows. But your 2 tag team champions, one of them are goofy dudes that should not hold the titles very long.
And they're probably not, but still.
And then the other one, you might break up now, and neither one of them have been getting pay-per-view matches. What the hell is going on?
And the Raw champions don't even wrestle anymore. They sat there and said they were going to defend the titles all the time. Awesome truth, and they haven't defended.
No, just doing comedy segments.
Yeah, they have barely defended them. So I don't know, man. Hopefully, we can get the titles off both these teams. We can get some real teams with it. Hopefully, DIY take them off of A-Town Down Under, and I don't know, someone on Raw can take them from them. We can actually have some real tag teams and go back to a legitimate division because this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I think you have Chad Gable get that, them and the Creed brothers together, and maybe they win the tag team title.
Yeah, and they kind of El Idolo, Andrade wrestled on the show against Apollo Crews. Crews got a little bit of offense in here. He looked pretty good against Andrade. Angel Garza was outside with Andrade. Andrade got the win. Garza kind of helped him. and then Legato was like out there. He kind of just walked right by him. So Andrade does not want to join Legato, even though they want him. They want to put past everything and have Andrade join them. So
Yeah, and it caused some friction within Legato. Hopefully, they don't break that team up. And
Jesus
then,
Christ.
and then Apollo Cruz attacked Angel Garza also for getting involved in his match.
Yeah.
So it's just complete and utter chaos. Poor
Yeah.
Angel Garza just eats his fucking
He's just getting his ass kicked.
yeah. Um, yeah, and also on the show, Ryan, we were teasing of AJ Styles' retirement.
Yeah.
Uh, I kind of saw where this was going,
He
Ryan.
he pulled a Mark Henry, Nathan.
Only, exactly, just because of the suit he was wearing.
The suit and the way he was celebrating, the way he called out Cody, it was I was like, oh yeah, here we go. I knew he was going to be pulling this shit.
But they did the same thing Mark Henry did. So I
Yeah,
that was kind of
yeah. I didn't really like it
yeah.
too. I didn't.
Yeah, I was like, you've already done this. Come on, you
I
couldn't just
saw it coming a mile away. So,
yeah.
um, we did have some more bloodline stuff with Kevin Owens, Paul Heyman. The Guerrillas of Destiny made their tag team debut on WWE because they took on the Street Profits. A pretty good match. There was a moment in commentary here that I think is going to spell into this story that maybe a lot of people didn't catch. They were talking about the Guerrillas of Destiny, and they're talking about how they're multi-time New Japan Tag Team champions. And Wade Barrett
Mm-hmm.
said that may be true, but the reason they've never been in this company is because they're savages. And they said, but Tama Tonga pulled some strings to get them here. Now, what kind of power does or Solo Sikoa pull some strings to get them there? Now, what kind of power does Solo Sikoa have other than maybe The Rock?
Oh yeah.
So I think that kind of proves that The Rock is leading this stuff, and The Rock because he's in kayfabe in storyline like on TV and out of TV, he is on the board of directors. So like it's
So
been
do you
acknowledged on
think
TV. So
so for weeks and months now, people have been speculating that what's his name?
all
Uh
two,
Jacob Fatu was gonna sign with WWE and he was gonna be in the bloodline,
yeah,
uh you know, possibly the leader of this new bloodline, maybe. And now, Ryan, so think about this. What if instead we have this bloodline head by The Rock, then Roman comes back at some point, is with Jimmy Uso.
mm-hmm.
Somehow they get Jay Uso back over there. I don't know how that's going to work out. Maybe a trade or something. I don't know.
He just gets traded again.
Yeah. But you have Jay Uso back over there. Well, they need a fourth.
Yeah,
And then you have Jacob Fatu come over. What if, Ryan, we're setting up Jacob Fatu to be the next Roman Reigns? Because Roman ain't going to last forever. He's got, he's got that major illness.
yeah.
He's got, and I don't think he's going to wrestle much longer.
Mm-mm.
And if he's not going to wrestle much longer, you need somebody to replace him.
Yep.
What if Jacob Fatu's that guy? What if we have had this completely backwards the whole time?
And we may may very well. I mean, I think it's going to be potentially at SummerSlam if The Rock's able to do, the Bloodline War Games match.
We're not going to get a Rock in the War Games, are we?
I mean,
Could you imagine? Like,
I don't know
he's
how
gonna
else you. I don't know
he's
how
gonna
else
have
you
to sit
fit.
in the corner for a while, ain't he? I mean,
I
Jesus.
don't know
Or
how else
maybe
you
the last
finish. Well, if
person.
he's the last man in, won't have to do too much. But I
Yeah.
don't know how else you finish this thing other than a 4-on-4 War Games.
Well,
And
I mean,
then
eventually you
at
got to Rock Roman.
Mania next year, it's Rock Roman.
Yeah.
But you got to have the start of it. You got to have them all wrestle each other eventually.
I like it, man. It's
So I
interesting.
don't know. It would be interesting to see Fatu on the face side of things, which I think would work because he is so athletic and so good that the crowd's probably going to cheer him when they see him anyway. So
Yeah.
like making him, and he's gonna if you put him next to the Bloodline, if you put him next to the Tongas and Solo, he's way bigger. He's gonna look massive.
Well, not only that, he's just more of a character. Like
Yeah,
when you
he's
look
gonna
at him,
outshine all three of them.
yeah,
So you kind of have to put him opposite. So I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where this heads. But I think that little note of, he pulls some strings that Barrett said kind of triggered it, and I was like, oh, because he doesn't have Solo Sikoa has no power. Who can he? How
yeah,
can he pull strings other than talking to The Rock? That's the only way he can pull some strings. So
yep,
it's gonna be interesting. Other than that, Bailey and Naomi beat Piper Nevin and Chelsea, or Piper Nevin and Chelsea Green beat Bailey and Naomi, which is how I guess Nevin gets the title match. And then we had the
gotcha.
AJ Styles Cody Rhodes segment. AJ faked the retirement. Then he, beat the fuck out of Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
And he did the Styles Clash off the ring steps to the floor. So we're
all
probably
right.
AJ Cody 2, which I'm okay with because
Now
their
I'm okay
first
with
match
it.
was amazing. So I don't.
But you definitely don't. You don't. They're definitely not gonna have AJ win then, right?
God, I hope not. That'd be insane if AJ's title run ends after freaking like 5 months.
That'd be pretty nuts.
But that was Raw. That was WWE this week. Um, SmackDown and NXT were definitely better than Raw. So
Yeah. I'd say NXT is probably. Well, I don't know. What do you think? NXT or SmackDown?
I thought NXT knocked it out of the park this week. So for
All right. So
me,
we'll get.
NXT.
So it's
But
NXT for this first pod for this first episode. We'll see how AEW fares.
yep. And then we're at the end of AEW. We will tomorrow. We will tell you which show we thought was the best of the week. Which I think.
All right. So if you like this episode of WWE Speak, uh, like it, subscribe it, and tickle that notification bell so you always get to hear our lovely voices. And we'll see you on the next.
Bye.